With the recent release of Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic and it tearing apart the community, with one side thinking that it's the best game in recent memory, while the other half thinks it's not even a FNAF game. But I, on the other hand, have been thinking of a few things. Mainly, have we been evolving in this series, but backwards? And I'm not talking about technology, I'm talking about safety. 30 years down the line, when I have children, if I were to go into a real life Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and I saw that the person performing was Nightmare Mangle, would I feel safe? And more importantly, would I feel my children were safe in that scenario? No. No, I wouldn't. Which is why, in today's episode, I'm going to try and rate a whole bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics on how much I would actually like to keep them in a pizzeria. From scrap metal contenders to absolute crowd pleasers. The original five: Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. For the first three, I have to give them a 4 out of 5. And I say this because they are so close to being perfect, but the only problem is that they probably smell really bad because they haven't been bathed in 20 years. Next up, Golden Freddy, who's basically just normal Freddy except yellow. Other than the fact that he doesn't have an endoskeleton, I'd give him a 3 out of 5. If we just slap an endoskeleton inside of him, he'd probably be fine. But here's the thing, Foxy. Foxy is the one that I have a very hard time with, and this is because he's old, he's broken, and he has a giant hook that can gouge your eye out. The last thing that we need, especially in a Fazbear location, is another lawsuit. Foxy gets 2 stars out of 5. You see this? This is what I'm looking for. The toy animatronics look clean, they have a criminal database built into them so they know if you're a criminal, and they just look perfect all around. They are absolute crowd pleasers. 5 out of 5. And then they immediately ruin it because Mangle is a thing that exists. To the people that have Mangle as one of their favorite animatronics, you know who probably doesn't have Mangle as one of their favorite animatronics? OSHA. Because it's a major safety violation. Mangle, alongside the rest of the Withered animatronics, minus Withered Freddy, I'll talk about him in a minute, get a rating of only 1 star. Withered Freddy, I'd argue, has the same amount of damage as Golden Freddy or Foxy, which, isn't a lot. So I would argue that he has a rating of 2 stars. Now, as much as I want to make the obligatory Balloon Boy and JJ are annoying joke, I have to say they get a rating of 3 stars because there isn't a lot bad with them, but also they're Balloon Boy and JJ. What else is there to say? I'd also throw in the puppet here too, mainly because it's not too good and is a bit creepy, although it spends most of its time in a box. I kind of think of the puppet like how, when I was younger, I was always super excited to go to Chuck E. Cheese and I loved being there, but there was also that one lingering thought in the back of my mind where the mascot costume would come out, and I was absolutely horrified. The reason I lumped all these characters together was because I gave them the exact same rating. So, the Phantoms, Shadows, and Nightmares all get a rating of 1. The simple answer as to why I did this is, well, none of them are real, so unless you want your kids reenacting the plot of Candle Cove, I'd rather not keep them in my restaurant. While not technically the same case, Springtrap also gets a rating of 1 because, well, Zombie Bunny Man, you know? Our final animatronics in this segment are Spring Bonnie and Fredbear. These two are relatively good animatronics that don't really have a lot of problems with them, which is why I give them a rating of 4. The only risk they could pose to children is the very, very, very slight chance that they may scar them for life, but if one of the spring locks were to go off, which, won't happen in a million years, they'll probably be fine. All of the Funtime animatronics on the screen right now, minus Ballora, all get a rating of 4 stars. Ballora, on the other hand, gets a rating of 3 stars. All of the companion animatronics get a rating of 2, although they can be bumped up a point or two if they're with their larger companions. Also throw in Yendo too. And then there's Lolbit, who's basically just Funtime Foxy again, but with a different color scheme. Just because I feel Lolbit looks better and has a better gimmick than Funtime Foxy, I would rate them a 5 out of 5. And then finally we have Ennard, who's not even an animatronic that should be on a stage, so the 1 star. One, two, three, five. I love all of these guys. These guys are genuinely really good animatronics. Keep doing this, please. I forget about you guys sometimes. Four for, El Chip and Funtime Chica, 3 for Music Man. Now, originally, I was gonna continue the whole I'm going crazy because of how many characters there are in FNAF joke. Until I realized something about Security Breach and Secret of the Mimic. Scott Cawthon is trying to turn FNAF into a sci-fi franchise. The Glamrock animatronics are powered by AI. AI can be taught by anyone and everyone. And if it can be taught by everyone, people are gonna take advantage of that. How much you wanna bet that in the canon of FNAF there was at least one kid who decided to call himself Seymour Butts and make Freddy say Seymour Butts as a joke? The Blob gets the same reason as Ennard, Burntrap is arguably not even real, and Vanny is a person. I'm not joking when I say the staff bots somehow get a higher rating than any of the Glamrock animatronics or any other animatronic in Security Breach or Ruin. And finally, we reach the ending of the video. We have only one last animatronic to talk about. The Mimic. The Mimic is a state-of-the-art animatronic that has the ability to copy the personality of anything and you immediately know where I'm going with this. The Mimic is very unique for this video, as it's the only animatronic that gets a rating of 0, and this is because, quite frankly, the Mimic is too dangerous to be left alive. At any point in time, anyone speaking in a FNAF game could be the Mimic. Who knows, I could even be the Mimic, and nobody here would know. Okay, now, just wait a second.